Hi, everybody. Welcome to Ocean's Pit, the little show about big things. Hope you guys are having a great day today. It's a gorgeous day out here in September, folks. It is Friday, the 20th of September, and we have a great show lined up for you guys today. First of all, check the website, TonyOceanMusic.com, and give us a call at 847-769-8609 to book a show. Every show is dedicated to the first responders, but mostly it's dedicated to people like you who take the time and watch the show, whether you're watching it at lunchtime or you're watching it anytime during the day on all 5 social media outlets. We are coming to you live from the Tony Ocean Show Facebook page, the Mo Carraro Facebook page, Ocean's Pit Facebook page. We're on LinkedIn. We are on X, formerly Twitter, and we are on YouTube, all coming out to you live today. And we got 2 incredible guests on today, folks. First of all, first part of the show, we have my good friend Pamela Curran Smith, and she's a lawyer right now, folks, but she is running for candidate for 12th District for Cook County Judge. It's going to be great. She's going to start off the show, and then we're going to bring out the legend himself, Sam Aramonte, folks, and all remember our good friend Sam, judge, lawyer, all good stuff. So we have a great show for you, folks. So let's get right to it. Ready? Thank you, Dino Manzella from Seventh Heaven on that incredible intro. Guys, it's Ocean's Pit, the little show about big things. I hope you guys are having a great day. All right, so first of all, I just want to thank everybody who's showing up last night to Gigi's Are We Live in beautiful Burr Ridge, Illinois. Jerry Jams, of course, thank you so much. Frankie Setta for showing up. Of course, Lisa P., thank you for joining us, and a couple great songs. And it was great doing a little party. Happy birthday for Mona and our good friend Dennis Savard, former Chicago Blackhawk legend. And then, of course, he also played with the Montreal Canadiens, which he actually won a Stanley Cup with the Canadiens. So it was great seeing Dennis Savard and that. I also want to thank our friends from Smothered, the TV show from TLC, Kathy and Christina, thank you. They're on their 4th season, I think. Great show about how close mothers and daughters are. Every Sunday on TLC, they were there as well. So it was a great party. Tonight, we'll be at Chicago Prime Steakhouse in Schaumburg, 8 o'clock with Double T Tony Toto. And tomorrow, we're making our debut at the Hard Rock Casino in Gary, Indiana. That is with the Main Event Band. That's a 9 o'clock hit till 11. And Sunday, we'll be at Ron Onesti's Club Arcada Speakeasy for Sinatra Sunday with Daryl Armenstadt, the Professor. That's a 3:30 hit. Oshows.com for your tickets. Guys, Pamela Curran Smith, it's going to be great. She's going to be talking to her in just a few seconds, but let's get right to our sponsors. Ace Hardware. Ace is the place. Buy local, shop local. Norridge, Des Plaines, Evergreen Park, Warrenville, Mesa, and many, many other stores, folks. The new one is in Mesa, Arizona. 50% off all lawn and garden decor, patio sets, lowest prices of the seasons. They also have handyman available, licensed and insured, and make sure you give them a call. Also, folks, let's not forget to grill your ace off. That's all you got to say. Grill your ace off and get 20% off any grill purchase. Get the stuff now. Why wait till the next year? Get it now, so right when the spring comes next year, you can put it all out and ready to go. That's Ace is the place. Buy local, shop local, supporting neighbors before they were neighborhoods. Our good friends from Ace Hardware. And one more, folks, let's not forget our good friend Mary Grievous for all your real estate buying needs, buying or selling the perfect real estate professional, whether you're putting your home on the market or looking for your dream home, give Mary a call today. Available says buyers, sellers for sale by owners, expired listings, Berkshire Hathaway Stark Real Estate. That's Mary Grievous at mgrievousstarkre.com, or give her a call at 630-688-1725. And if you're talking about Mary Grievous, folks, you also have to talk about NTD Vacations, and that is the Chicago Music Cruise 2025. You missed the one in January. We had 7,000 people on that ship, folks. Don't miss this one coming up March 22nd to March 30th, 2025, the Royal Caribbean, Oasis of the Seas, 8 days, spring break, baby. Florida, Lauderdale, Carousel, Aruba, and Coco Key, Bahamas. Going to be a lot of fun with some great acts, folks. Tony Ocean, the main event band, of course. We have Mojo's Jukebox, my other band, as well as Hillbilly Rock Stars, the #1 country band in the city of Chicago. Mark Odette and Yacht Rock. Frankie Boom Boom, Hollywood Rodriguez from GCI. Wendy Thomas with a tribute to Britney Spears. And the ringleaders, Seventh Heaven. And don't forget the Jersey Girls. All three of them will be on that ship. So go to ChicagoMusicCruise.com, put in Tony Ocean, or give Mary a call at 630-688-1725 and tell them you want to cruise with Tony Ocean on that cruise. It'll be a lot of fun. All right, so let's get to some our guest here, folks. I'll make sure we got that and get the show rolling here. Pamela Curran Smith, candidate, 12th District, Cook County judge, attorney for 18 years. Pamela, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, thank you. And thank you for having me on the show. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Any friend of the judge, Sam, and of course, our good friend, Dennis Finn from the Needs Foundation. That's one working hard guy. Boy, I tell you, when he started that organization and all the good things he does for people, it's fantastic. Pamela, where were you born?
So I have been a Cook County resident my entire life. I was actually born in Chicago on the Northwest Side, and I was raised in Jefferson Park.
Very cool. Jefferson Park. That's right. Big family you come from?
You know, my parents are very hardworking. And then I have a sister who is 16 months older than me, and my brother's a couple years younger. And now they have their families. So, and we're pretty close. I mean, we're all geographically, like I live out in the Northwest suburbs now. I live in Prospect Heights. Okay. And you know, my brother's in Des Plaines. My sister is still on the northwest side of the city, but yeah, we're all nearby. So
very cool, man. That's nice. Now, was someone in the family who inspired you to say, "Hey, I want to be a lawyer"? Because first of all, that's not an easy. That's a lot of school, a lot of work, a lot. Was there somebody in your family that interest you, or how did you get involved in trying to want to be a lawyer?
Yeah, it was something that being a lawyer was something I always wanted to do. I mean, I would. My family would joke with me that I would overanalyze things, but I love to do it. I love to take a problem. I love to dissect it and try and figure it out. My uncle is a lawyer, but besides him, I don't have any other lawyers in my family. When I was in college, I thought about I studied psychology, and I thought about going into psychology and focusing more on that. But of course, a law degree, you can do so much more with it, with having a law degree in comparison to a degree in psychology. So I thought, you know what, this is a great profession, and I would love to be a part of it. And it's something that I have always wanted to do. So
what was the hardest part when you told your family about it? Were they very supportive that you wanted to do this field?
Yes, they were absolutely supportive. We do in our office a lot of criminal defense work. And so they were a little bit more apprehensive about me doing that. But overall, they were very supportive of me becoming a lawyer, very much so. And in this next step too, this next endeavor I have now of running for judge in Cook County, I couldn't do it without my family's support.
Without your family, I do believe any job you have, if you don't have the support of your family or your spouse, whatever it is, it will be a tough battle. What was the toughest thing in school that you found being a lawyer? And besides, I mean, what was the hardest thing that you found doing your studies?
So I always worked during school. I felt like it was important to have a balance. So I would work. I worked my way when I was in college. I worked through law school. And so sometimes that balance was a little bit difficult. You know, when you're in law school and there are the students that you're competing against for certain grades, when you know that they're a full-time student and their time is entirely dedicated to studies, and I'm splitting my time between work and school. It was a little bit difficult doing that, but I think overall it helped a little bit. It helped once I graduated and was looking to get a job, because those were the balances that I've always had to have. So,
did you find it hard being a woman to become a lawyer?
I was actually fortunate because I've been practicing for 18 years, but I believe the generation before me really did pave the way. I mean, I started in 2006, and I will say, and I've been in court pretty much since that time. I don't have hard numbers on it, but I know that when I started, I was in front of so many more male judges than are on the bench today. So I definitely have seen a shift in that, which I think is a great thing. I mean, I think it's great that women are embracing their opportunities and really striving to succeed. It's hard sometimes balancing family and work obligations. And I know so many people do it, and it's just almost become something that you just are expected to do, and you do it. So.
Well, it's definitely a hard job. I know a lot of lawyers, folks, and I think lawyers do get a bad rap. You ever get that? The lawyers always get the bad rap. But you have to remember one thing. Everybody can bitch and moan about it, but when something happens to you, all of a sudden that lawyer's there. And you see that all the time. All lawyers are they're all in it for the money. Obviously, it's a job. You worked hard for that. Now you're supposed to do that. But there's got to be times that you I'm sure as a lawyer defending somebody, how is it? What's it like when you see somebody coming into your office and they're guilty, but you have to represent these people? It's got to be very difficult.
Well,
how do you keep that? Just saying to the judge, let's lock this person up. I mean, how do you do it?
So, and actually, to your point before, we have state's attorneys who will look at us when we're in court. And when I talk to them, they'll say, how can you do that? How can you go in and defend some of these people? But yet, if their family member or friend gets in trouble, they're calling us and they're asking for help, because everybody is entitled to a defense. Everybody's entitled to representation. And that is what this entire country is founded on, is our laws and the Constitution. So I will vigorously uphold that. And I truly believe that if everybody does their job, justice will be served. So when we have a client walk in the door, I never ask if they did it or didn't do it. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. It's not going to change the way I do my job. I'm still, and I'd actually rather not know, so I am still going to do my job. But when they come in, go into the courtroom to battle it out, and if everything plays out and all the evidence is there, sometimes it means having that conversation with my client, whether it's over a battle for any kind of overdue, custody, or any kind of child support that's overdue, anything like that. I'll have that conversation with them if that needs to happen. I'm a lawyer, but also a counselor. So one of my favorite parts of the job is being able to counsel clients and give them the best advice, something that they don't always want to even hear that advice initially, but I know that in the long run, it's going to be to their benefit. So I like to at least have that conversation with my clients.
Okay, so now you're a lawyer, 18 years. Now the next step, you're saying judge. Now, is that something you always wanted to be too? Did you say this is my next step, or did someone like Sam, of course, or anybody else influence that this could be good for you?
Oh, Sam absolutely encouraged me to take this next step. I'll tell you, when I first started out in law school, I didn't realize that my career would land as a litigator, much less running for judge in Cook County. After 18 years, the nice thing about our practice is we're in Cook County, we're in DuPage County, Kane County, all of the surrounding counties, but we go throughout the entire state. So we have cases in Logan County, in Joe Davies, in Champaign County, Henry County, and going in front of all of those different judges, and there really are some great judges on the bench, going in front of them, you get a feel for it. You get a flavor for the courtroom, and you kind of can pick and choose and take the good of each judge that you've been in front of. So it's a learning opportunity across the board. Even the judges maybe who, you learn from every judge that you're in front of, right? Yeah. So in doing that, I've really, I believe, and Sam has encouraged me to, I do believe that it is a way to truly make a difference and to truly help people every single day. I mean, I have clients who, like I said, my favorite part is counseling them. And so if we're sitting in the hallway, and this made me think more about it too, if I'm talking to a client and we may not have the facts on our side, we may not have the best case, but if I know that the judge in that courtroom is fair and compassionate, and if that judge is going to listen, that's all you can ask for in a judge, someone that's going to be fair. I mean, I have clients, whether it's a family law case or even as simple as a traffic ticket, they're overwhelmed, they're nervous, they're intimidated by the court process. And so as a lawyer, as an advocate, I try and ease that burden for my clients. And as a judge in a courtroom, I would hope to do the same and to strive to always, do the right thing no matter what case comes in front of me, but always to listen and to be fair.
Pam, we got a folks with Pamela Curran Smith, who is running for 12th District Cook County Judge. Is there judges out there when you face, you can tell it's going to be a little harder battle than other judges?
Oh, yeah. Yes, absolutely.
Why do you think that is? Why are some different than others?
I think, it's the way maybe that they came in, the way that they were trained in the system. But it's like anything. I mean, when you're a student in school and you have teachers, the teachers that are going to be a little bit more lenient than the other teachers. But I will say, and on a daily basis, I may not necessarily enjoy it, but it is those tough judges that I've learned the most from. Those judges that make me do mental gymnastics and challenge me on my words or my position. Those are the judges that I've truly learned and developed as a lawyer from. So begrudgingly sometimes dealing with it on a daily basis, but in the long run, I'm grateful for it.
Pamela, what about when you have to get ready to talk in front of a jury? Now that's got to be difficult too. Sometimes you can't tell what the juries are going to be like. Do you have a special way of preparing for? I mean, each case is different, obviously, but do you find it difficult if it's more of a men-dominated jury or a woman-dominated jury, or does it really make a difference?
It does. Jury selection matters so much in the outcome of a case, and every judge handles that process a little bit differently. But they call it the voir dire, the jury selection process. And so many judges allow lawyers the opportunity to actually engage the jury. So you get to speak to them in panels and you get to ask them questions sometimes. You get a flavor for who it is that you're talking to and maybe which way they lean or what their preferences and tendencies are. And that's how you do your jury selection. Then you look to see, okay, well, this person based on the way they've answered or even just their body language can tell you a lot too, just reading their body language. So we use that to decide, okay, is this a juror that we're going to want on this jury, or based on something they said or something in their background, are they maybe going to be less favorable to us? And then we maybe move to strike them.
Yeah. And how do you feel sometimes at the end when you've tried your hardest and you did everything you can for that client and it just doesn't come up that way? It doesn't come up for a win. How do you look at your client and say, that's got to be tough. That's got to be a very tough conversation.
Those are some of the hardest cases because every trial, and any trial lawyer would attest to this, you pour your heart and soul into it. I mean, we're at the office and, I'll be at the office sometimes till 2 a.m. prepping a case and then waking up again at 4, 5, or 6 to get right back to it. It's all consuming. But when you do it, and because you pour so much of your heart into it, when the outcome doesn't go your way, it's heartbreaking. Even if sometimes that ultimately that's justice being served, it's still a tough loss. And then you just have to have that conversation and move from there.
It's got to be. And you know what? It's got to take a certain type of person as a lawyer, because the next day you're to another case and you got to start all over again, or continuance or whatever it is with different people. But it's got to be different. Like Pamela, now you're going to be going to candidate for 12th District, Cook County. It's going to cover Inverness, Palatine, Rolling Meadows, Arlington Heights, Prospect Heights. Let's see. So Northbrook, you're covering a lot of. Do you think it's harder to be a lawyer in the city of Chicago or the suburbs, or does it make a difference in your opinion?
I really think it's so dependent on the different, not just where you are geographically, but the judge that you go in front of in a courtroom. Now, I am running in pretty much the entire northwest suburbs. So it's everywhere up until Lake Cook Road. That's right. The county line there. And one of the nice things about running in a sub-circuit is that if I were running countywide, you can't meet everybody. You just can't. And even in a sub-circuit, that's almost an impossible task. But at least in a sub-circuit, the geographical area that I'm covering, I can do my best to get out there and try and meet people. I'm knocking doors. I'm, trying to go to farmers markets, things like that, where I can actually fests and things like that, where I can actually get out into the community to meet people. Because the one different thing about running as a judge in comparison to politicians, politicians, they speak to issues. And so their platform is typically issue driven. And with judges, at least with most judicial candidates, because we expect this of our judiciary, most judicial candidates run on their experience and how, the cases they've litigated, things like that. So when I'm running as a judge, you're not really supposed to speak to the social issues. So we're focusing more on our experience. The best way to do that is to actually get out there and get to know people. So
right. Obviously the door-to-door things don't happen anymore like they used to, and used to knock on people's doors and hand out those flyers. Hey, I'm going to be voting in your town. I'm running in your town and stuff like that. But things have changed. And now you've been a lawyer now, an attorney for 18 years. Has it changed a lot in 18 years since you first started, for the better or for the worse?
Good and bad. There's good and bad to it. Actually, and we are knocking doors. We're going with our walk cards and knocking at the door and trying to meet people. Because even though there's Ring doorbells and you hear all these scams of people coming to doors, there are still people that open their doors, and there are still people that appreciate when a candidate actually comes to their door to try to talk to them and get their name out there and encourage them to come out and vote. I mean, that's where everything happens. If you don't go to vote, you can't complain. You can't,
you can't bitch at the outcome. Absolutely.
Right.
Sometimes it's intimidating when you're a younger person, you walk to a door and you see an older person, they look at you, you look like, what are you selling, candy? Right? Because, right? It's going to be very difficult, right? What, you're a lawyer? Like when I seen my new doctor, he was like 18. I thought, wait, it's like, it's great. So what do you think you can change? What are you going to try to do once you become a judge?
And it's actually funny you said that. One of the doors I knocked last weekend, it was a 95-year-old man, and he was very proud that he was 95. And I truly, age is relative. So he asked me, because he doesn't care, he asked me, how old are you? So I said, I'm 45, and I've been practicing for 18 years. And we talked about it. I said, there are lawyers who have practiced twice as long as me, and I truly attribute this to Sam Amoranti, to Judge Amoranti. He has given me such a wide breadth of experience in my time of practicing. I mean, he has sent me in on anything from misdemeanors to murder cases to family law, civil breach of contracts litigation in federal court, in state court, and it doesn't matter what county it's in. So I've gotten a flavor for venues and areas of law that is pretty expansive. And so there are lawyers who've been practicing twice as long as me, but have not had the opportunity to have the experience that I've been able to gain just working alongside Judge Amoranti in his office.
Yeah, that makes a big difference. So what would you say right now, if you're people that are listening, and most of these people are from the northern suburbs, what would you say, vote for me, and why?
So I think this goes to one of the reasons that I did decide to run. A handful of years ago, I would not have run because I didn't believe I had the experience to make a difference. And now I have two kids. I have two boys. They're 8 and 9 years old. So they're in 3rd and 4th grade. I see the world, and maybe every generation says this, but I see the world that they're growing up in. And it's different from the world that I grew up in, even. You play outside till streetlights go on, you go home, and you know where your friends are because their bikes are laying out in front of somebody's house, and that's how you know. And now they're communicating with their friends via an online platform where they're all playing video games. And it's a different world. And to me, it's a scary world. I mean, some of it we have to accept, right? But being 8, 9 years old, we live on a corner house. My kids went out to play basketball one day, and my older son came running in and he said, there was a car that stopped in front of the house, and he got nervous. So, and I was glad he did. I was glad he came in the house. I also have seen a lot, so I might make them a little bit paranoid at times, maybe, but it's for their own safety. But the reason I'm running is because I look at the world that they're being raised in, and I want to make it a safer place, not just for them, but for all the kids that are growing up. And I feel like I can't just sit back and say, complain about the crime and want it to be a safer place without at least trying to do something. I have gained a lot of experience over the years in the criminal courtroom arena and others. And I feel like now I have the experience. I want to be able to make that difference. And I want to do everything I can to make my community and those around me a better place, Cook County, a better place to live.
Well, I mean, that's a great answer. And I'm sure, a lot of people try, like I said, I think even police officers, they always want to become a cop, and they come into the cop and they do what they do their job sometimes. And then just the way it's run, when they finally get into it, there's nothing, especially what's going on in the city of Chicago, where you get arrested and 2 minutes later you're out.
Right. Yeah.
And all the hard work, and it's got to be very difficult. Pamela Curran Smith, everybody. That's right. She's running for 12th District Cook County Judge. I'm sure you're going to do great, especially with Sam behind you. One last question. You become a judge. You're doing this stuff. Are we going to see you on TV? We're going to see you. Could you be the next Judge Judy?
There are so many judge shows. I feel like it's a saturated market. No, I hope to do all of my work in a courtroom. Thank you, Randy.
Well, Pamela, you know what? I love your enthusiasm and your hard work, and especially when you got a mentor and a coach like Judge Sam over there. You can't go wrong, and I'm sure everybody will vote for you. Good luck on the election, and thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. And thank you for having me today. I appreciate it.
Anytime. Pamela Curran Smith, everybody, don't forget to vote for the 12th District Cook County Judge. Guys, all those towns out there, Inverness, Palatine, Rolling Meadows, Arlington Heights, Prospect Heights, you just got to get out there and vote. It's a very important. Kathy Eppolito, we have California now, New Jersey. Patrice, former Chicago Honey Bear. How are you doing, Iowa? Hello, Arizona today. Albert from the Ron Onesti organization. Michael Angelo, how you doing, my dear friend? I hope you guys are doing well. All right, guys, so let's get to a quick sponsor before we bring on our next guest, folks. You know, by mom and pop organizations. That's what we support. Buy local, shop local. And I'm not just saying this because these guys sponsor our show. I say this because these guys will give you the best deals and because they are mom and pop and they take care of people who need to be taken care of. Jack Vena Landscaping, they offer monthly maintenance programs, bush trimming, spring fall cleanup, bed mulching, fertilizing, weed control. They offer plant design, service, and installation. They now serve fall gutter cleanup. And they've been servicing the North Shore for over 44 years. Called my good buddy Tommy at 847-432-5266. That's Jack Vena Landscaping. And let's not forget my good buddy from Airtight Windows. You're looking for windows and siding. If you're looking for new windows and you want it done right, do it right with Airtight. For honesty and quality and dependability, do it right with Airtight. Servicing Chicagoland for over 35 years. Do it right with Airtight. Give Louis Pipes a call at 708-788-5000, and they'll take care of all your needs. Louis Pipes and Pipe Windows. All right, guys. So now I told you guys that there would be another guest, and this man needs no introduction. But before we bring him on, we got some other shows coming up that we need to promote, folks. Next Monday, the 30th of September, for all you dog lovers out there, you know how much I love dogs, all the stuff I do for Almost Home Foundation for Dogs. It's going to be at the Tap House in Lamont for the Ruby Whiskers, 9:30, with all the great entertainers. It's going to be there, folks, a $10 cover. I'll be the MC performing, Professor Daryl Armistead, Frankie Setta, Felix Greco, Kim Peterson LaFew, Ronnie B. Elvis. It's going to be a good thing. It's good for the dogs, all the money. And you'll be able to actually adopt dogs, too. They will have dogs there for you guys to adopt. On the 13th of October, we'll be at the Royal Oak Theater with Ocean's Rat Pack. Also on the 5th of October, we'll be at Forget About It Vineyard and Winery in Galena, Illinois. Let's not forget our St. Jude's benefit at the Arcata Theater coming up in St. Charles on the 24th of November. And don't forget the big Columbus Day Bocce tournament coming up on the 28th of this month, next Saturday at the Casa Italiana. It's going to be a lot of fun for our good friends, some hardcore Italians. Speaking of Italians, let's bring up another gentleman that needs no introduction, folks. 17 years as a judge. He's an author. He's done so much. He has a big book, a bestseller called Defending the Monster, of course, and a lot more stuff. Our good friend, Mr. Sam Giramonte. Sam, how are you doing, sir?
I'm okay, Tony. Thank you. How are you?
You never get any older. You look the same.
Both of us.
Yeah, God bless you. First of all, thank you, Judge Sam, Lawyer Sam, for being on. We do really appreciate it. Boy, the history that you have. One thing, 17 years as a judge, and I didn't realize this till I read your bio that you were in the Marine Corps.
Yes.
And in boot camp. What does scoring 500 points mean?
Actually, it was the 17th Marine in history to do that. You go through certain tests. There's the Marine Corps physical fitness test and the Commandant in the Marine Corps physical fitness test. You have to do these tests at the end of boot camp. In the physical test, first test, you have to do 20 pull-ups. There's certain things, right after another one. 60 push-ups, 20 pull-ups, 72 sit-ups in like 2 minutes. There's a number of things you have to do: a high jump, long jump, climb a rope in 8 seconds, 20-foot rope in 8 seconds. I was like a little monkey back then, Tony.
Yes.
You know, did all the stuff, and then you do a 300-yard run. It's like a 300-yard dash, and you run that, and it had to be run in 32 seconds or less. And I did. I ran it in 31 something for the 300 yards. And then there's the Commandant in the Marine Corps, which is similar, except do everything with your equipment on, with your backpack and everything. You have to do the same kind of tests, the same kind of pull-ups and everything. And then you do a 3-mile run. And you have to do that in under 21 minutes. And that's to max out. I mean, there's other scores like you could finish and and just barely get in it and there, but I was fortunate to I really worked out hard and I was a foot shorter than everybody else out there, so we'd stand in ranks. I'd be like this, and
Yeah. You know
one
what? Yeah,
time,
you were the underdog doing
yeah,
that. And look at
so
what you achieved with all the hard work that you did.
I had to try hard. And I
Sam,
came out, perfect score.
being a judge, I mean, boy, you've been doing. You got a book, also a best-selling book, defending a monster, and we'll talk definitely about that. But did you always? I mean, why a judge?
My judge, we're actually going back to lawyer. My dad was a newspaper truck driver. Short of tell you look at me, you see my dad. We like cloning our family. There's a little short guy who smoked a big cigar. And I always wanted to be a lawyer. And he would say, there's a difference. And I wanted to go into politics. And he'd say, there's a difference between a statesman and a politician. If you're going to go there, you got to be a statesman. And he would go through all these things. And I always kind of wanted to be a lawyer. I used to read about Abraham Lincoln. I used to read about Clarence Darrow when I was a kid. I used to like to argued things. I always wanted to take the stand of the underdog, actually. My dad taught me that, too. When I was a little kid, like 8 years old, some guys threw some rocks at me or something in a ditch, and I went home crying. He said, I'm not going to fight your battles. They were a couple of years old. The next time I saw him, he said, give him a punch in the nose. If they do it again, punch him as hard as you can, and then they won't bother you anymore. And actually, that's what happened. The kids started bothering me. I punched them in the nose, started bleeding. And then it got out in the neighborhood that I was doing it. Me and Pete the Greek, my other little buddy, we used to patrol the neighborhood and protect all the kids that were getting picked on. And so I kind of developed that where I wanted to always protect somebody who was getting picked on as I grew up. And I would protect the kids in the wheelchairs in school and things like that. And so it got to be there. And I wanted to continue to do that in my adult life. And the best way to do it is to be a lawyer. Now, my dad didn't want me to be a lawyer.
Correct.
Stand lawyers. So they were all crooked. They were a dime a dozen. You want to do it? Nobody in my family ever went to college. He said, be a doctor. So I was in pre-med in college. I listened to my dad, pre-med. 4 years in pre-med, biology major, degree in biology. I took the medical college admissions test. I got the worst grade in the history of the medical college. It's probably in the archives somewhere. How low can you get on that?
There you go. But yeah.
Trying to go to Marine Corps and then the law school. So.
And you know what, though? Like I was talking to Pam, being a lawyer like you are, it has to be. What did you see changing now compared to when you were a lawyer? Anything changed differently for the worst, for the best?
Well, I don't know. It's all the women in the law now. When I started, I think I had 3 women in my law class.
There you go.
Now
yeah, they got to be harder than right. Women know how to take the fights. They got to be much harder than a man is, especially in this day and age.
Get into that men's club at first. It was tough for women. They had to be really tough. But now there's more women in law school than men, and there are more women lawyers graduating than men. And I have to tell you, and Pam's wonderful. You just talked to her. She's just an amazing lawyer, an amazing person. I've been blessed to have her in my employed, for 18 years now. And but I tell you, not all women are like that. And I have women, ladies out there. I don't mean to insult you, but
there
are a lot of women who kind of they carry that attitude with them, carry with them as lawyers. They carry it with them on the bench, and I got to deal with these people every day. And a lot of them don't like men, and a lot of the Me Too women are out there. One time I touched a prosecutor on the shoulder. I finished a hearing out, and I'm not even going to say where it was, but nice job, counsel. You can do it to a guy, to the guy. Nice job, counsel. And her partner goes, "Get your hands off my partner." I go, "What? What are you, goofy?" I said, "You can get your hand." I'm congratulating her. You can't touch her. That's the kind of things we face now,
right.
And that's a big change. We've lost, and even among young male lawyers coming out, there's a lot of civility that was lost. And that happened after Greylord. When we had Greylord,
sure.
Shake hands, and a lot of camaraderie. You go out, you could fight like dogs in a courtroom, and then go out and have a beer when you're done, or a cup of coffee or something.
It's not like
now,
that.
They fight and they take it personally, and that's something that has to go. You get somebody like Pam on the bench, who's there, who gets along with everybody. I can tell you, 18 years, Tony, she's been with me. 18 years, not one co-employee, not one opposing lawyer, not one judge, not one client has ever said a bad word about her or complained to me or anybody else about it. That's the kind of person we need on the bench. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, they're not all like her. You know?
Well, not only on the bench, but as a lawyer too. When you have someone walk away and said you have no complaints, that's very good. I mean, that's very promising, which is fantastic about the character of somebody, which is very, very important. Sam, I'm going to ask you the same question I asked Pam. You see somebody that you're going to defend, well, let's just get right to it. The book, of course, Defending a Monster. You did represent John Wayne Gacy. What was that like when you got that phone call?
What, you think he was guilty, Tony, or what?
I'm just. What was it like? Like, what was
No.
your first thoughts?
Well, the first, it's on. I'm going to plug my book now, see, because it's all in
Yes,
the book right
please
here.
do. Show the front cover of the book.
The first, yeah, there it is.
There you go. Okay. There you
And
go,
he
folks.
he actually drew this picture of me on the back. Gacy did that.
Wow.
It's a
Okay.
picture of me. But anyway,
So-
I got the call. See, I knew him. Now I'm a Republican, Tony. Back then I was a Democrat. I was a Democratic precinct captain, like he was. Okay. And when he got, and everybody knew Gacy. Everybody in the neighborhood knew Gacy. And he was like, if somebody needed help with something, John Gacy was there to help him out. That's the kind of person everybody knew.
Yeah, because the problem is he came out being everybody liked the guy, right? He was like he did a lot of things for the family.
Yeah. He wasn't the monster like in my book is Defending a Monster. He didn't look like a monster. I tell kids when I lecture in high school, college, the scariest thing about John Gacy, he wasn't a scary guy at all.
No.
He was not a scary guy. He wouldn't be afraid of him. Nobody would. Anyway, so he calls me. I had just quit the public defender's office. I actually was still in the payroll for a few weeks, maybe because I had all this vacation time and sick time coming, starting my own practice. I get a call, and on the other line, it's Gacy. He goes, "Hi, Sam, can you do me a favor?" And I said, "Sure." And I knew him from the Democratic organization.
But you didn't know this was going on with him.
No. He called me, said, "Can you do me a favor?" I said, "Yeah, what's up, John? I can help you." Like if anybody else called me,
Right.
And just starting private practice. And he says, "I'm being tailed by the Des Plaines police." Now, he didn't call me because he thought I was some kind of great big-time lawyer. He called me because I had been the supervisor of the public defender's office in the Des Plaines courthouse where the police department was. And I knew the mayor and the police chief. So he thought I had that old-fashioned clout. So he called me. He said, "Can you find out why I'm being tailed by the Des Plaines police? Try to help me out here." So I said, "John, I could find out. I know all those guys.
Sure.
They're friends of mine." So now one thing led to another, boom, 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 boom. And next thing I know, I'm in the middle of this big case. A week later, he gets arrested. He was being tailed by the police, and it was like the web was going around him the entire time. And I found myself in the middle of this case with cameras all over from all over the world.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a scary thing. It was, again, much more than representing him. But, he looked at me and he asked if somebody's guilty. I mean, he looked and I could talk about it now because of different reasons.
Yeah, right. Yeah, years have passed.
Looked
Correct.
at me eyeball to eyeball, like we're looking at each other right now, only not over a TV or monitor.
Yeah, you're right in front of each other, right?
On his desk, yeah. And he's said, "I've been the judge, jury, and executioner of many, many people. Now I want to be my own judge, jury, executioner." And he went and described every single murder and every single burial of me. He wanted me to look at the crawl space. And here I am. I'm a young lawyer, 30 years old, and my heart's pounding. I'm like, "Oh my God, what do I do now?" And he wound up getting himself arrested, and the rest is history. And here I am. I tell everybody, Tony, I was 6'4" before that case. This is all that's left of me now.
But you and
But
also
you ask if he's guilty. The reason I wrote the book, and I want all young lawyers to read it, is because I talk in my prologue. I talk about John Adams and the Boston Massacre.
right,
John Adams, who became the president ultimately after Washington, he was the third president.
right.
He was the one who was instrumental in writing the Sixth Amendment, the right to counsel, because he represented the British soldiers who shot at the colonists, a colonist, and killed the colonist. And he stepped up, and he was very unpopular for him to do it. But he said, "No man, and nowadays be no person in a free country, when accused of a crime, should be left without counsel." And that's why we lawyers do what we do. We defend with every single person who comes in our office, whether they're guilty or innocent or we don't know what happened. They deserve and have a right to have a lawyer represent them to the best of their ability like a guard dog. And
But Sam, you kind of knew that there was no winning this case.
No, I didn't. I'm the eternal optimist. We had an insanity defense.
Okay.
From day one, and there's that. I think he was crazy and he was insane, and his actions were the result of an insane, mentally ill person. He didn't appear to be mentally ill, but when we went into everything with all the psychologists, psychiatrists, I thought we could win and get not guilty by reason of insanity.
Insanity, correct.
I argued to a jury that he should be studied to prevent things like this happening in the future. Maybe if they listened at the time, we wouldn't have some of the serial killing and some of the mass killing that's going on now. But people bury their head in the sand,
What I noticed, though, too, if I watched some of those documentaries of those certain people, Gacy, Speck, et cetera, Dahmer, I also noticed that when they growing up, they had some screwed up lives. Their parents were a little, I can't blame it all on that. But you know what? It's like anything that's going on right now with the kids in society. It all starts with mom and dad.
Oh, it does, but and moms are very, we're important to moms are very, very important.
Moms are very important.
Almost 50 years of doing this, moms are extremely important. How they raise their kids, and how parents, how the family dynamics is. But some people are just born. Gacy was sort of like the bad seed. Some people are just born like that. They're psychopathic, sociopathic. Right. No matter what happens, you mentioned Dahmer and different people like that. You can't help them. Sometimes they just have to be warehoused or get some mental health. The thing is, it's important to learn from those people how to prevent it from happening again in the future, and whether it's family dynamics or something that has to be picked up in the brain, some psychological or psychiatric stuff, it should be done, and we shouldn't hide from it. We should confront it, face it, and that's what I try to do with the Gacy case. Try to tell people, study this guy, find out why he did this, and they never really did. All the time he was in jail before he was put to death.
Before he was put to death. They were calling you either the kissing judge or the hugging judge. Why is that?
Just to back up a second, though, and I didn't become a serial killer. You talked about the Marine Corps before?
Yeah.
My friends were chasing me to try to throw me in a lake near Irving Park in Cumberland the night before I went to the Marine Corps. I ran away from them, and I had my baggy grays on and my boots and and I don't say it, my Dago tee. They're chasing me. I run across in a yard across Cumberland, wind up being in a Chicago cop's yard. He's yelling, "Call the wagon!" He's spraying mace at us and everything, and we're laying in the thing. They take me to the night before the Marine Corps. Take me to the 16th District Station, cuff me to the chair. They call my dad. He had to take me to AFES in the morning. They call my dad. He comes in. And I go, "Dad, look what these cops did to me." Paw! I get a crack with the back of his head. He goes, "Shut up." Paw! They go, "You go home with your dad." I go home with my dad. I'm going to Marines. He goes, "I tell you, be quiet." Now he takes me home. I go to AFES. Next morning, I'm on the yellow footprints in boot camp in the Marine Corps. Drill instructor sees me. Again, I'm a foot shorter than everybody else. He goes, You one of my Italian boys from Chicago? Takes me out of the think, "You queer for me, boy? You eyeballing me? You from Texas?" He goes through all this stuff. So he steers and queers and anyway, comes up, boom, he starts hitting me in the solar plexus. I get hit over there. So I tell everybody I got beat up by the Chicago cops, my dad, and my drill instructor all in 24 hours, and I didn't become a serial killer. These people have always.
After all that, look what you came. And you know what, folks, if you're just tuning in, of course, Chicago legend Sam Armanti, folks, a judge for 17 years now. He's an attorney. Back to the hugging judge, kissing judge. Which one is it?
Hugging.
The hugging. Yeah. Robert Provenzano said it was the kissing judge. So it's the hugging. So why is that? Were you like Richard Dawson? You hugged everybody or no?
That's because I hugged Bob Provenzano. He wanted to give me a kiss. I said,
there you go. All right. So the hugging judge, where did that come from?
It started, actually, the first time I did it was at 13th in Michigan in the domestic violence court of all places. And I had this husband and wife. They were going at each other. And I told him she had the key to the jailhouse door. And they were funny. The couple was actually funny. And she was this big woman. He was a skinny little guy. And I said, and she goes, I don't want him to go to jail and leave him out of jail, Judge, please. He's a good man. He supports me. And she's telling me how good he is. I said, yeah, but the police officers say he struck you, and that's not right. He shouldn't do that. I say, Strucker, you better, and I'm yelling at him, right? Going back and forth. I said, you really want him out? You're really not afraid of him? But she's got the key to the jailhouse door. You're not afraid of him? If you're not afraid of him, you really think about it much, go give him a hug. And I'm going to see her body language. And that's how I went to her body. She's like, oh man. And she goes, and she grabs this guy and she said, no, she was the victim, right? And she's talking to me like, like this. And I said, all right, now be nice to her and let him go. And everybody in the courtroom started clapping like that. Because nowadays another thing that's changed, instead of trying to put people together in court, the court system tries to separate them, put them apart. Families are important. Families are important. And the government keeps trying to split up those families. And I never went for that. So then later on, I had some gangbangers. I was at Grand and Central Gun Court. Some of these gangbangers would come in, and they'd come with their ma. And I'd say, who's here with you? Your ma? Your ma who put diapers on when you were a kid? Where's your gangbanger buddies? I don't see them here right now. Anyway, go back and forth with them, and I'd say, give your ma a hug. Oh, I don't want to give her a hug. I did in traffic court. Give your ma a hug. It's your ma. She loves you. Look, you're making her cry. Big man, you're making her cry. And then I make them hug the ma. So you don't hug her, I'm going to sing it down to jail and hug one of your buddies down at the jail. Or they'll be hugging you.
It's going to be a different hug.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, then I did it. So I started doing it all the time. They call me the hugging judge then.
No, hugging
judge, right?
Sam, you're also involved always with the Italian community. Before we get into that real fast, what do you think? What's your opinion on what's going on now in the city of Chicago? It seems like when someone gets arrested now, you get arrested, boom, you let no bail, no this. What's going on?
I say Gotham. I call it Gotham City. It's like we need Batman over there because
it's almost like New York is almost the same way now. It seems like. Why do you think this is happening?
Well, I think the leadership in Chicago needs to be changed. I think we've been too lenient. The state's attorney who's in there right now, Kim Foxx, they're not prosecuting cases they should be prosecuting. They're not training their young assistants. That's good for the defense lawyers. They're not training the young assistants who should be trained. They're not backing the police. The police need to be backed out there.
Back to blue. Absolutely.
Absolutely. They go in there, they're putting their lives on the line for everybody. They're protecting people. And then they're the bad guys all of a sudden. That's what's wrong with Chicago and so many of these big urban areas. There needs to be more respect for the police, more respect for the laws. There's anarchy. People break through windows. Nobody even goes after them. They rob jewelry stores. Nobody goes after them. And that's what's wrong. Not only Chicago, but like in New York, Los Angeles, all these big cities. And that has to change. That really has to change. And it affects everything. And we go into court, and like Pam told you before, we're the wedge between tyranny and freedom.
Right.
Because, we have to defend the Constitution. We have to defend it. It's the job of the prosecutor, the state's attorney, the prosecuting authority to overcome those rights and prove beyond a reasonable doubt that these people we've charged, and they don't even charge, committed crimes. And then they should suffer the consequences of their crimes. And it's not what's happening in Chicago. People need to back the blue. They need, there's always going to be that 10% in any profession.
Yeah, right.
90%, all police officers are good people, good family men, putting their lives on the line every single day. They need to be protected. They need to be respected, and they need to be honored by good law-abiding citizens. And I'm a defense lawyer.
Amen to that. It's very important. But you doing a judge, lawyer, of course, Sam Aramonte, folks. Raised Italian, born Italian, support the Italian communities. I'm proud to be Italian, and I know you are too. And we've took a lot of shit always with the mob this, mob that, mob this. If you're Italian, you go somewhere out of the country, the minute you say you're from Chicago, they go bang, bang. Were you growing up? I mean, did you get any of that criticism at all from being Italian?
No.
Or you think it helped? Or think it helped you?
I had a lot of good friends. A lot of my friends, of course, in Norridge, I was growing up. Tony Lupo, Tim Biasello, Jimmy Masello, a lot of Italian guys, a lot of Polish guys too. Though.
Yeah,
we had some good fun. And I'm very proud. I did my DNA, Tony. I did a 23andMe answer. 98% Italian. Not only Italian, but from the Campania region of Italy.
okay.
My people ran into the hills in the 14th century, so I'm like an inbred hillbilly. 98.
Hop along, kiss it each. There you go. Right.
But
So
yeah,
you know they took a lot of slack. I know the mob movies and all that stuff like that. Look, we've all been, especially in my business and your business, we've come across people in that particular field. I have to agree with you. If during the 2020 riots in Chicago, if we had the old school guys still around, none of that shit would have happened in our city.
it's a better world back then. It was a better world.
I agree with you
None of
100%.
none of the stuff in Vegas, the crime that goes on in Vegas, none of that would be going. You were safe. You'd go to Las Vegas, you walk down the street, you didn't have to worry about somebody rolling you, come behind, because they couldn't do it. And you know, and what do they do? You know, the government comes in and they prosecute some of these old men, these 80, 90-year-old men. Okay, fine.
What are
Why?
they going to do?
Why? What are you doing? These people hurting anybody? Anybody? You know what? Being Italian, we're family people, and it's in our DNA. It's in our DNA to be protective of our families, to be with our families, and to be inviting other people. You know, most people in the world, everywhere I've been, respect Italians. They'll do it all in Chicago. Boom, boom, boom. Especially Chicago. More than Italians, they go Chicago. Boom,
Right,
boom.
right.
But I think we're lovable people, and I am very proud, very, very proud to be Italian. Had been raised in an Italian family, a close Italian family, because that's what we're all about. I wear this thing every day on my wrist. For my old law partner Jim Etchingham, who also became a judge, and his little brother Joey, who died of not Lou Gehrig's but Huntington's disease. I wear this. Family is everything.
Yeah.
And we Italians, family is everything, and it's so important that message gets out. And you know what? I love that old saying that there's only two people in the world: Italians and those who wish they were.
When they wish to be. Sam, you know, you had an interesting career, and it doesn't look like it's going to stop. You keep doing what you're doing. If a young kid comes up to you right now and says, "Listen, Sam, I want to be a lawyer," what do you say to those person? That man or woman that comes up and asks you that?
I still believe that, you know, I've been doing this almost 50 years now on both sides of the bench. And I believe that, I truly, in my heart, believe that the law profession is an honorable profession. And it's important for those coming in to really have that passion to believe in the Constitution and to believe in the laws of this country. I still get the chills when I was on the bench, and even now, if I walk past the American flag, or I hear the national anthem, or the Pledge of Allegiance. It sounds corny, but I get the chills seeing that. And as far as I'm concerned, a lawyer is that person again who's the wedge between tyranny and freedom. And if you believe in that as a young person, now I see if you're doing it just to going to make money, don't do it. You're just going to make money. Go become a salesman, do something else.
Do something else.
Do something else, because you don't go in law just to make money. You go into law to help people. You become a judge to help people. Like Pam said earlier, when you're on a bench, you could do a good deed every single day of your life, whether it's helping a young kid straighten out, whether it's helping a family get together or get split apart if they need to,
Sure.
or locking a bad guy up to help the community. You get to do that good deed every day. And as a lawyer or as a judge, you're in the enviable position to be able to do that every day of your life. You could do a good deed for someone. So I would advise them to go, and I don't know if all lawyers, because we work hard. Like Pam said, we work till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning sometime, when we're up a couple hours later in trials. And people don't realize that. They don't see how hard you work. And if you're afraid of working hard, I'd say, no, don't go to law school. If you're doing it just for money, don't go to law school. But if you're doing it because you love this country, because you love what we have, because you believe that, I'm getting the chills as I'm saying it. You
Amen
believe
to that.
it's the greatest country in the world, then go to law school and be a good lawyer and be honest. Be honest.
What's the difference? You like a prosecutor, defense attorney. I mean, why that? I mean, it's got to be a little difficult to be the defense attorney in some ways. Do you think?
No, it's difficult on both sides. Being a prosecutor, again, you have to be able to prove your case, gather the evidence. And, you know, a lot of prosecutors nowadays, too, unfortunately, they don't try to be fair. They'll know they have a bad case. They should throw the case out if they have a bad case. But they have to analyze the facts, and they have to be able to prove their case beyond a reasonable doubt. We, of course, have to, as a defense lawyer, defend our client, protect the client's rights, and put the burden of proof to the state. That's how the system supposed to work. If everybody does their job, if the police do their job, the prosecutors do their job, then a guilty person should be convicted. But if somebody on that side falls short of doing their job, O.J. Simpson was the perfect example. He should have been convicted. But somebody on the prosecution side didn't do their job. And the lawyers on the defense side protected their clients' rights.
They did a damn good job.
And
They did a damn good job.
And they kept his mouth shut. Me, I keep my clients, I tell them, don't say a word to anybody. I got a fish on my wall. I say the fish got there because he opened his mouth. If he didn't open his mouth, he wouldn't be on the wall. He'd be swimming free in the ocean somewhere. But, it's difficult on both sides. But both sides have to do what I said a minute ago. Believe in the law, believe in the Constitution, respect the Constitution, and believe in this country. It is so, so very important. And if you feel those are the kind of lawyers we want, those are the kind of judges we want. And if somebody feels that way, yes, they should be in the law. If they don't,
I agree with you. That's a great wise words of wisdom, Sam. Last question, because we're running out of time here. Defending the Monster, you can still get that. It's still available. Was there ever talk about making a movie for that particular book? Was anybody ever come up to you and talk about make a TV movie or something with Netflix or something? I think it would be a very interesting movie.
There have been movies made about him. They've all been really haven't been good. There's a really good documentary. It was on Netflix. It was a 3-part documentary.
Yeah.
Really good. And there's a gentleman in California right now who's been working on putting a movie together based on a book and kind of based on my life loosely, kind of incorporating that in there. But yes, there is still talk of that.
So the question is, who would play you? If you had to have one actor out there that would play you, who would it be?
Me.
You got to play. Well, how about the younger you?
My son Sammy. Everybody says,
okay.
I tell him he's my older brother, but yeah, my son.
Yeah,
Sammy.
that makes sense. You're watching Ocean's Pit, little show about big things, folks. Of course, former Judge Sam Aramonte, folks. Now he's a lawyer, of course, attorney for many, many years, folks. Let's get one more sponsor here before we're coming to the end of the hour, folks. Let's not forget our good friends from Deutsch Power Center, serving the construction and diesel industry in Chicago for the last 100 years. That's Deutsch Power Center. Give Sal a call at 224-276-6550. Let's not forget Armando Supermarkets, buy local, shop local, 925 Liberty Street in Elgin, Illinois, and Mike and Gigi from Crash Champions Collision Auto Repair. For all your collision auto repair needs, go to crashchampions.com. Guys, we have come to the end of the hour. Sam, what's next for you?
My daughter, I have an 18-year-old daughter, and she just started college. She's a great little athlete. Pam's going to go on the bench. Hopefully, Pam will get on there. She belongs.
Absolutely.
I may slow down. I'm thinking of doing a little more mediation type work, getting people together and resolve their disputes. It's called alternate dispute resolution. With the background I have, I'm really thinking of doing a little more of that. So,
well, we're looking forward to see what you're going to do.
Show.
Oh, well,
get on a Friday night to go see you.
God bless you. But you know what? Thank you for all the years of service and everything that you've done, Sam. You're a legend here in the Chicagoland area, and I'm sure Pamela Curran-Smith is going to be an incredible district judge in the 12th district. So make sure we need to vote for her and get some good people in office. That's what we need, and that's what it's about, folks. So again, thank you so much for your time, Sam. Guys, it is coming to the end of the hour, folks. Don't forget, tonight we are at Chicago Prime Steakhouse in Schaumburg, 8 o'clock with Double T Tony Toto. Tomorrow we're at the Hard Rock Casino in Gary, Indiana. And don't forget, Sunday we'll be at Ron Onesti's Club Arcata Speakeasy. That's a 3:30 hit. How about birthdays for September 20th, folks? That's right. Chris Christopherson, country singer and actor, 87 years old. Sylvester Stallone turned 77 years old. Hank Williams Sr., one of the greatest country singers of all time, would be 101 years old if he was still alive. Another Italian, Frankie Avalon, turns 84 years old. The village of Hoffman Estates is celebrating a birthday. So happy birthday to Hoffman Estates. David Clark, Clayton Thomas, of course, the lead singer of Blood, Sweat, and Tears, 83 years old. You got to love that, folks. John Fogerty from CCR, 79 years old. Jason Bottom, the son of John Bottom, 58, one of the great drummers around. Vince Amore, Chicago entertainer, happy birthday. Danny Ramundi, happy birthday. Ryan Lewis, to your mom, happy birthday out there. Brian Epstein, the manager, the man behind the Beatles, would have been 90 years old today. Dee Dee Ramone of the Ramones. Richard Keel played Lurch 007, and of course, our good friend Ryan Sandberg from the Chicago Cubs, all celebrating birthdays today. Guys, we got to go, so let's get right to our good friends again from Ace Hardware. Ace is the place, buy local, shop local, supporting establishments. That's what it's about, folks. And don't forget to take advantage of their auto key programming at all their stores. They program and card cut keys up to 50% less than a dealership. Visit their helpful hub to speak to a certified team member. Download the Ace Rewards app, easy way to keep track of your points, coupons, and special offers. Remember, folks, Ace is the place. Buy local, shop local, helping neighbors before they were neighborhoods. Guys, remember a couple words. Buy local, shop local, support local establishments, support live entertainment, support our military. So please help our homeless. We need it. And guys, remember, be kind to one another right now. Life is too damn short. And get out of your couch and your ass and get to the polls and vote. It's important. Bring 10 or 15 people with you to vote, because we need to change things right now in this country. We need to. But if you don't vote, remember, folks, you can't bitch over the outcome. So it's important. And remember the great words of Sir Ringo Starr, former Chicago, great Beatle himself, peace and love. We need it more than ever. God bless you, everybody. Have a great weekend. We'll be back here on Monday, same time, same station. Ocean's Pit, the little show about big things. Again, I want to thank my dear friend Pamela Curran-Smith. Good luck with your election. Of course, the legend Sam Aramonte. God bless you guys. Nick Sahajas, the piano man, take us out. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Oh, it's the end of the show. See you later from Tony O.
And thank you, our good buddy Dennis Finn, of course. Dennis Finn from Needs Foundation. Dennis, thanks for putting it all together. And make sure you check out that organization, Needs, my good buddy Dennis. God bless everybody. Have a great weekend. Congratulations, Yankee, clinching the playoffs.